Jumbo, fellow adventurers, it's Mike Dooley. Thanks so much for being with me. And in just a moment, I'll bring Sara Landon on. But as you likely know by now, if you saw the link in the note from the universe today, we're hosting Sara Landon and the Council. She channels the Council this August 5th, 7 days from today. About this time, give or take an hour. So I wanted to bring Sara on so that you could meet her, so that you could get a taste of the Council, so you could understand why I'm so excited. So Sara, are you there? Council, are you there?
I'm here, Mike. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here, and I'm so excited for what we're creating next week. It's going to be an amazing experience.
That's exactly how I feel. How does the Council feel? Do you have a rumbling from them?
They are always in the vibration of our highest excitement and joy. So I think it's us actually aligning more to where they are, and that's what leads to that excitement and that feeling of inspiration and feeling so joyful in our being. So I have yet to ever have an experience that wasn't uplifting and joyful and filled with so much love and inspiration from them. So it's going to be an amazing conversation. And you have talked to the Council many times before, and it always leaves me in this expanded state of this higher perspective of what's really possible in our life that is just so incredible. So I am very excited for next Thursday, August 5th.
So am I. And so to give everybody a little bit of background, I assume anybody who knows of my work knows what channeling is, but let's not assume anything. Channeling is when an individual, a God particle like myself, Sara, or you watching right now, has the ability to gently step aside, if you will, and allow the energy of a higher part of themselves or their spirit family to come through and take over and begin speaking what they want to speak. This is called channeling. My first time of ever being told about a channel was I was away at University of Florida. I was 20 years old, I would imagine. And my mom just said she read this amazing book that was channeled by a lady in trance whose husband would take dictation by longhand, and just like that, page after page, chapter after chapter was dictated, one draft, and it created what became a series, a series of volumes of the Seth material. I know, Sara, you and I have talked about the Seth material, Jane Roberts. I remember literally saying, Mom, speechless myself, I think you've lost it. Like, what's next? Little green Martians in the backyard. You're reading a book channeled by a disincarnate being through a lady whose husband is taking notes. And she was the guru of my life. She shut me up as only a mom can do. And she said, forget where the information came from. Just read what Seth has to say. And she sent me the book. You must read this, was written on the cover. And I have been astounded time and again, not just by the Seth material, by the volume of amazing work that is channeled in the world. Most of the people who know of my work and your work, Sara, also know of Abraham, channeled by Hicks, Ramtha, channeled by J.Z. Knight, Emmanuel, channeled by Pat Rodgress, Raphael, channeled by Ken Carey. Now, I know if you're not aware of channel material, I must sound like, Fruit Loops right now. But forget where it came from and listen to what the channel has to say. And then don't assume it's right. Just open your heart and your mind. Does this resonate? And what I have found 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10 with these spiritual heavyweights, they articulate things in ways I haven't seen a plain mortal do. And have insights that blow my mind. And it's amazing stuff. And that's why I'm so excited to offer a free 90-minute workshop on August 5th with Sara, who will be channeling the Council. Sara, tell us your take on channeling and how it came about for you. Like, what is going on? What do you do? Where do you go?
Well, first off, I think everybody has the ability to tune into higher levels of consciousness, elevated levels of vibration, and feel this feeling of being inspired, feeling joyful, just knowing the truth, having a moment where you are in a conversation with someone and something just comes through you. You don't even know what you just said or where it came from. Oftentimes, that's an experience of you being a conduit for higher intelligence, higher wisdom to flow through you. Athletes, when you're in the zone, right? When you are just in those moments where you can do extraordinary things, in my opinion, that's an experience of channeling your source energy that's always available to you. I am the first person to tell you, I really think that it's time that we demystify channeling so everyone can open up to this higher guidance and awareness that is always available. If you are drawn to channeling in any way, either if you have followed the teachings of Abraham-Hicks, or you read Seth Speaks, or you've followed other channels, you are remembering your own vibration that is in alignment to that source energy that is always available to you. Demystifying this idea that it's somewhere up there, out there. Many years ago, most channels were what you mentioned, trance channels. Edgar Cayce being another one, where he didn't remember what was coming through. He just got into a trance state and had this sort of out-of-body experience where, as you mentioned, like this entity came through. My experience of channeling is very different than that. I feel this overwhelming presence of love and connection and source and truth, but I'm aware of what's coming through. I have just practiced this so long that it's very easy for me to translate the streams of consciousness that are coming through. But I like to consider myself a very normal, approachable, kind of everyday person. So you can imagine when I started channeling, I did not want to be weird. I did not want to be woo-woo, but the information, as you said, when I really applied it in my life, absolutely transformed my life in ways that I could have never imagined. And there was nothing that could stop me, even my greatest fears, from sharing this wisdom for all those who are ready to receive it. When people are in the presence of the council, oftentimes they experience this feeling of coming home, the feeling of home like they've never felt, coming home to their truth, we're remembering. And that's what it is. It's not something outside of you. The council always says, you are us and we are you. You are the council here on earth. And essentially, to me, channeling is just getting your limited self out of the way and allowing the source energy and the infinite intelligence that is always, always, always available to you. So I was always interested in spirituality, even at a very young age. I grew up in a very Christian family. I had a very spiritual aunt that was into reincarnation, meditation, who had gone to channelers, and I knew there was something beyond. I didn't really know what that was, but I got into personal development and the art and science of success and achievement, and that you can transform your circumstances and your conditions. But this whole idea of sitting on a mountaintop, getting quiet, meditating my whole life didn't really resonate. And I was in the corporate world at that time. So I was reading a lot of personal developments and spiritual books. And then I had an experience when my brother died in a car accident, like something I had never, ever experienced before. And I really could no longer doubt that there was something available to us. And what happened for me was it was a time in my life when I could hardly use the word God. I didn't really know what God was. I didn't know what it meant. Some of the dogma that I had maybe picked up through religion didn't feel right, but I didn't know exactly what I believed. And so I walked into my brother's viewing the day after he passed away, and it was in a very cold, dark, heavy, emotional room and space. And I went over and touched his body, and then went and sat in these chairs next to my family. And the emotion was so thick and so heavy, you could cut it with a knife. And I was sitting on this chair, I'll never forget it, this hard metal chair. And within a few moments, this just liquid love started at the top of my head and went all the way through my body and I was in complete and total peace. I was warm. I was peaceful. I felt this love like nothing I had ever felt in the human experience so far. And I heard my brother say, as clear as day, over my right shoulder, I'm still here. I'm just not in there. And I knew his reference was to the body that was on the left side. And in my head, I said, well, where are you? And he said, I'm just as here as I ever was. I just left the density of the body. And I'm at a rate of vibration that you can't see me, but I'm always here and no one ever goes anywhere. And this conversation of just be in peace, all is well, I'm still here. It was just so visceral, the warmth, the love, the peace. And after a few minutes, I really don't know exactly how long it was, all of a sudden that energy receded and I was back in this cold, dark, emotional, heavy room. But the peace never left me. And so it was a very spontaneous experience. I believe it was my love for my brother that allowed me to not dismiss that experience and want to feel that again and want to ask more questions and want to connect with that. I believe it was that love that allowed me to start opening up my own channel to communicate with higher levels of consciousness. And so that happened very spontaneously for many years. After my brother's funeral, I went back to my corporate life as a corporate professional and went about my day. You know, I was still reading books about spirituality and personal development, but I could not deny this powerful experience I had. And he continued to come and visit, and I would feel this love and I'd feel this peace, and I'd ask some questions. But I just had these questions that no one could answer for me about the human experience. It's one of them being, you know, I took all the massive determined action and I manifested the house and the job and the money. And why do I still not feel like I'm living my purpose? Why do I still feel like I have some greater calling? Why do I still not feel the purpose and meaning? You know, what's the purpose of life? Do we have a purpose? Who am I really? Why am I here? How do I live the life I want to live? You know, I had all these questions and no human answers could satisfy me. And so in my conversations with my brother, I could ask him questions and I could hear him answer. But I think a lot of people think that it's this big, loud, booming voice of God. And it's really more subtle than that. It's a feeling, it's a vibration, it's a knowing. There is a voice to it, but it's about learning to listen. It's about learning to get still enough to hear it. It's about making it an important relationship in your life. And then most importantly, learning to trust it. And so that went on for a while. And then I started waking up in the middle of the night with this energy that was coming through that was not just my brother, but something beyond, an even more expansive awareness and love. And I would wake up in the middle of the night and I would write and I would write and I would write. And then it would stop and I would go back to sleep and I would wake up the next morning and read it. And it was the answers to my questions. It was the most beautiful wisdom. I didn't know at the time that that's called automatic writing, but a lot of people experience that. And I just read it and I lived it and I practiced it and I read it again. And then I had an experience of a session that was designed to help you get in touch with your soul's purpose, where you go into this meditative experience, a guided meditation or a hypnosis-like experience, where the question was, you know, do we have permission to talk to Sarah's higher self? And after being in this vibration, this energy, all of a sudden, my voice changed. My voice started to speak very, very different than mine, sort of like a Russian man with an accent, talked really fast, didn't pause, used very different language than I did. And it just went on for quite a long time to answer all these questions about who am I and why am I here and what's my purpose and how do we live our highest potential in this life, and on and on and on. How do we create abundance? How do we create reality? And after the session concluded, of course, this was all recorded, the energy was just unexplainable. The vibration, the frequency was just absolutely unexplainable. However, I was like, as amazing as that was, we are never telling anybody about this. Like, we are never going to have, nobody gets to hear the voice of the Russian man sound that comes through. And so I continued to do sessions every week where I'd get into this meditative state, and my friend would, who taught this guided meditation through QHHT, which is Dolores Cannon's hypnosis technique. And she would ask questions, and it was very clear that this was a council of a higher collective of beings. But the love, the truth, it was a feeling of remembering and understanding and awakening. They explained that my voice was different because I was learning to acclimate the frequency and the vibration. And as I channel now, many years later, my voice is pretty similar to how I speak on a day-to-day basis, but there is clearly a vibration that comes through. And so after I did these sessions for a while, some friends started asking, can we talk to the voice? And we have questions about our life too. And so I would just lay down and breathe and kind of do this meditation, and then the energy would come through and they'd ask questions. And that's how it all started. I never, ever, ever, ever could have imagined. In fact, if someone would have told me, you're going to be the channel of the council of a group of non-physical beings and ascended master beings here to raise the consciousness of humanity, I'd be like, wow, you've got the wrong person. Like, I want to be normal. I want to just live a normal life. That's all. But I couldn't deny that the information was the most profound wisdom I'd ever experienced in my life, with the grandest perspective of the human experience, and allowed me to transform my own life beyond my wildest dreams. So, while their words are important and while their wisdom is so profound, it is about implementing it and integrating it in your life that really begins to make a difference. And so I have seen now, people all over the world that use this wisdom to live their highest potential in their life. And I'm so excited for this conversation on August 5th, because I think for all of you who tune in to this free live 90-minute broadcast where Mike is going to be asking the council questions on the dream, the journey, eternity, and God, you are going to walk away with that with first off, I hope, a feeling like you have come home to the truth within you. And that is merely this vibrational experience, this state of consciousness that you allow yourself into, where anything and everything is possible for you. And it will invite you into a grander perspective of who you are and why you're here and what's possible for you. And to me, that just begins to open everything up to you in your life.
Yeah, I can attest to the fact that it's profound. I met Sara only about two and a half years ago when I was visiting Southern California. She lives and breathes this stuff as a teacher herself, SaraLandon.com. And she channels now on a professional basis, if you will. I don't know if that's the right word. The council every day. It's no longer an oddity. It's what she eats and sleeps and breathes to kind of bring truth to humanity. And quickly on, I had the great fortune of having a one-on-one with the council. Thank you so much, Sara, because really the things that were said, the depth of their grasp of the human condition, of living in the illusions of time and space as these incredible beings that we are, yet we know not. It has been some of the most helpful information I have ever experienced in my entire life. So I'm so excited to be sharing it. And I have to share the most exciting information that the council has shared with me is on the ascended masters and what it takes to be a master oneself. And I do not believe, neither does the council believe, that the goal in life is to be enlightened. But yet, there's so much we've forgotten that is at our disposal, that if we allow the greater essence of who we are to come through, which is what happens when you channel, which is what happens when you're not overthinking your life, the degree to which you can soar and thrive as a spiritual being on a human experience is staggering and astounding. There's no end point in our learning in these sacred jungles of time and space. But there's so much more to learn. And when we do, oh my gosh, this is one of the things I want to talk to the council about a week from now. It's like, what will the world look like? You know, not only how are we going to get there, and what tips do they have for our own rapid evolvement and ascension while staying in the illusions, but give us a glimpse of the jungles of time and space at some future point in time, which is probably closer than we realize. I won't even throw out a number, but it's not like we're talking 100,000 years from now. I think in the immediate, right now, we're going through this amazing transition where you are able to reach the council and this amazing information is coming forth. And I just want to also share something exciting or a revelation I had. Not only is it apparent when Sara is channeling the council that there is this refinement of wisdom, of this magnificent sharing of truth. But as Sara was describing channeling a little while ago, there's no doubt in my mind that whether it is, Johann Sebastian Bach or somebody maybe even performing in the Olympics right now as we speak, that they have been able to gently allow through a wisdom and an intelligence that we are all designed to harness, to be able to create such masterpieces. And just like Sara can create like this as she channels the council, so have others in different realms of creativity and expression been able to bring forth music and their work without necessarily 20 renditions and slaving and blood, sweat, and tears, trying to come up with the story. I'm reading Harry Potter with my daughter right now. For the first time, I'm finally reading it. And the creativity of J.K. Rowling and the mind-bending realms that she's literally invented for the telling of this story. I mean, I'm sorry, J.K., I don't know you, but I'm sure you channeled that. And I think, again, to demystify it, we're all channeling. I'm channeling right now to some degree. I want to learn how to do better. And I'm going to ask you, Sara, and the council, how any one of us can begin channeling our highest, greatest expression, not to obliterate our ego. I don't think that's the goal. Is it, Sara?
No, and they don't talk about ego. They talk about your magnificent personality and that should be celebrated, and that it's your human allowing this grander part of you. It's about your human allowing. And they say that anything that you love has the power to awaken you to the source energy that's always available to you. And so they don't ever talk about getting rid of the ego and this terrible part of you. In fact, they talk about realization being the integration of every part of you. It's about integrating all of these aspects of all that you are to come into your wholeness and your fullness and the truth of who you are. And they say, you are everything you wish to be. You already are. It's all within you, and it always has been. And it's about coming into a state of consciousness where you realize that. And then the joy, the peace, the love, the abundance, the well-being, the freedom, the harmony in your life, the magic, the miracles, the things that show up for you truly are beyond your wildest dreams. I know they are for me, and I know many, many, many people in our community, in our master's class community, would agree with that as well. It's heaven on earth. And I remember as a little kid, the first time I heard this heaven on earth concept, I went, I know that's true. I know that's possible. Heaven on earth. And one of the things very early on was that, heaven is not a place where you go after you die, right? It is a state of consciousness that's available to you, that whether you are in the body or you've released the density of the body, and you can live in heaven on earth here and now, no matter what anybody else chooses for their own experience. It's also this awareness, alluding to where we're going, of this new earth concept, this It's not a concept. It really is a state of consciousness that is available to you. It's a reality that's available to you. And a big part of what they talk about is creating your reality. We are here to be creators of our reality. In fact, they say the answer to every question is the same. The answer to every question, every problem, every issue, every challenge is always, you are creator within your own creation.
Wow.
You have a problem going on in your relationship. The answer is, you are creator within your own creation. You are experiencing lack of abundance in your life and feeling like you have no purpose, right? When we continue to say, I don't know what my purpose is, I don't know what my purpose is, I haven't found my purpose, right? We are creators of our reality. We continue to focus on not knowing what our purpose is. And it's just a shift in perspective. When we come into a higher perspective of who you really are and why you're here and what your purpose is, and you can start embodying that and experiencing that, when you begin to create a reality where you are your purpose, then expansion of your purpose just shows up every day in the most beautiful, miraculous, and amazing ways. And that's just a little tidbit of their incredible wisdom that's so life-changing.
I loved when they told me, you don't get what you most want, you don't get what you most need, you get more of what you are. And you can change what you are by changing your focus and create anew. And they're going to be giving us tips. I have a list of amazing questions for the council and Sara in 7 days from now. It's free, 90-minute workshop. The Dream, the Journey, Eternity in God is the title. Tell your friends, sign up. If you register, you'll have access to the recordings afterwards. So if you can't see the live event, it'll be on your dashboard long beyond the day of the broadcast. So it's free, everybody. We'd love to have you there. Thanks for watching right now. Any parting words, Sara?
Yeah, I'll just say my other favorite teaching of the council, if you can really take this in, is that you are worthy of everything you want and need showing up even before you know you need it. That is really what we're meant to experience as creators within our own creation, and is knowing that you are worthy of everything you want and need showing up even before you know you need it, to never live in lack and limitation and fear and separation again.
Well, you're the living example of all they teach, and it's been so good to be in your energy, Sara, these last 27 and a half minutes. Everybody, the link is below under this video that you're now watching, or go to tut.com or go to saralandon.com, and we will see you live, or you can watch the recording August 5th, 7 days from right now. Okay?
All right, we'll see you there. I'm so excited. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Sara. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you soon. Adios.